Welcome to IB Business and Management. We are looking at 4.3 today. 4.3's product, our third unit. New product design and development. This is a key area, key topic to get your heads around. And new product design and development is especially important for firms that are operating in fast changing. There's a lot of new technology. Technology is quickly and rapidly changing, and a classic example would be game consoles. Drug companies have to keep up with the play. They've constantly got to develop new drugs as their old drugs lose their patent protection. Industrial markets, for example, robotic machine tools, are very, very high technology and or heavily reliant on patent protection. These players have to have their new product design and development down pat. Now, other markets may see very little product change. Coke has only had small changes to adapt to changing tastes over the years. You know that Coca-Cola product has been with us for longer than I've been alive, and that's a long, long, long time. But as we'll see later, they've also made some very big NPD mistakes, new product design and development mistakes. The new Coke debacle, we'll have a look at that in a second.
Show me.
I'll have a look at it now.
In 1985, one of America's most successful companies ran into serious trouble when it decided to change its product. But unlike other industry giants who actually disappeared, like U.S. Steel or Eastern Airlines, this one has come roaring back as the owner of the world's most recognized brand.
Coca-Cola is a trademark, and it's a trademark that is surrounded with sights and sounds that make it a brand. And Coca-Cola is attached to music, Coca-Cola is attached to sports. We like to say that if it does not move, we paint it red, and if it moves, we sponsor it.
From its origins in 1886, right on through the 50s, Coca-Cola maintained a consistent record of growth. It created what seemed a special bond with consumers, largely propelled by advertising in tune with the times.
From the very beginning, we created powerful images and actions. The proliferation of different types of imagery in different forms really made the advertising universal.
Year after year, things did seem to go better with Coke. That is until the mid-1960s, when the company ran into a wall of change.
Since 1964, the product Coca-Cola has been losing market share in the United States. At the same time, the sugar cola segment in which Coca-Cola competes was shrinking. So it doesn't take much of an imagination that if you're losing share in a market segment that is shrinking, eventually you will end up with nothing.
Through the 70s into the 80s, Coke's market share was being chipped away by diet sodas and drinks like 7-Up. struggling with changing market realities, Goizueta decided to alter the taste. Backed by millions in advertising and promotion funds, Coke believed it had finally figured out how to win over the next generation of consumers.
Introducing the new taste of Coca-Cola. That's right, the new taste of Coke. Coca-Cola just went one better. A new taste that does more and goes
But
further.
the launch of New Coke created a backlash that stopped the company in its tracks.
Please don't change the taste of Coke. Why do you want to mix it? It ain't Coke.
You didn't like the new formula?
I've never tried it, but I didn't want to. Did I? Oh, I did. That's right. And I threw it out the window because we don't like it.
Dear sirs, I'm glad the person who came up with this dumb idea wasn't around when the Mona Lisa was painted. He probably would have said that her smile wasn't big enough.
Rarely had an executive decision generated so much ridicule. For Goizueta, it was the supreme test. Most observers felt that his future, as well as the company's, would be determined by how he responded.
It was a fascinating spring and summer in 1985. I received numerous letters. One of the letters was addressed to Chief Dodo, the Coca-Cola company. What was fascinating was that it reached my desk. There was another one, a gentleman in Wisconsin wrote a letter, kind of protesting about the formula change. And then he said, I would appreciate it very much if you sign this letter at the bottom and return it to me, because in years to come, the signature of the dumbest executive in American history will be worth a fortune. So I did sign at the bottom and send it to him. So it was humbling in that sense, and it was exhilarating in the sense that we realized we had something in our hands, a treasure that we had never valued as it should have been valued.
Goizueta acted decisively and reintroduced the original formula.
We're bringing back the classic original formula as Coca-Cola Classic.
The return of Coca-Cola Classic showed the company had learned an important marketing lesson about the consumer's connection to the brand.
I think it's very difficult when people first come to Coke from other packaging companies because they're used to brands that have very straightforward, what we call functional benefits. It makes your clothes cleaner, lighter. And you come to Coke and you work on a brand like Coca-Cola, and suddenly you have this brand that's, there's something physical, it does refresh you, cool you down, but there's much more emotional and mental things happening. It's a lot more intangible the way people feel about Coke. It's almost more like a perfume than it is like a consumer product.
Goizueta's marketing inspiration was to realize that the emotions behind the outcry represented a huge opportunity.
We realized that we had in our hands a most powerful tool for growing the business, which was and is all those images that surround Coca-Cola. The red color, the contour bottle.
A bottle that would capture a moment of pleasure the world had come to love.
So since then, you have seen us emphasizing all those icons that surround the brand, the product, the taste of Coca-Cola.
The centerpiece of Goizueta's turnaround strategy was to focus on Coke's icons, particularly the contour bottle. Originally developed in 1960.
Okay, let's have a closer look at this Npd process. Obviously, Coke didn't use it with their implementation. They're bringing out of New Coke. If they had have, they would have realized that in their marketing research, their concept testing, their test marketing, they would have known they're onto failure and doom from the start. Waste of money, waste of time, damaging to the Coke brand. Okay, the NPD process, new product design and development, what it should look like. Start with idea screening. Getting those ideas, generating new ideas by doing our market research, getting our brains trust together, doing some brainstorming, looking and thinking about adapting existing products. Perhaps that's come from a customer feedback loop we've incorporated into our customer relations practices. Idea screening moves on to concept testing. Concept testing, establishing the most likely consumer's possible cost of production. Establishing the most likely consumers, the possible cost of production, specific features that the product will have. Product development. Develop the product, perhaps make a prototype. Test marketing. Launching the developed product in a small but representative section of the market to assess likely sales following a national launch. But basically you're implementing all your strategies, all your marketing, your promotion, your price. You've got your product and packaging. How are consumers going to react to it? Test it out in a small market, all goes well. You launch it on the big market, worldwide, nationwide. If things bomb, you can just cut your losses, fast failure, take it off the market, not waste any more money on it. But perhaps you will get some really good feedback, a slight tweaks, slight changes that you can make within the marketing mix, and you can make those changes before a full-scale national launch. And from that we can go to the national launch. And this is commercialization basically. Commercialization, the full-scale launch of the product with appropriate promotion and distribution sorted in place as best as they can possibly be. Now, an important point to consideration is that a very small proportion of new ideas, remember right back at the start there we got idea screening, very small proportion of new ideas ever reach the commercialization stage. The NPD process should reduce the risk of failure by eliminating unsuitable and unprofitable products before they reach the final stage, thereby saving the firm a lot of time and money. The 7 stages. And again, a very small proportion of new ideas reach the commercialization stage. And even the ones that do get there. Remember, new products launched onto the market, very, very, very few succeed and make their organizations wealthy.